that the Sahaba themselves can have a difference of opinion in the reality of the Rasul sallallahu and the practice that he set. What key is you're following an opinion. You get the point?
This relates also to that, those matters of the heart. We're not talking about like fiqh.
Okay.
The matters of the heart, like Imam Ghazālī is trying to hear. Some people who are purified, as Ghazālī is, would argue maybe against him in some ways of how we arrive at a cleansed heart. But they're still valid. Right?
Yeah, Allah Ta'ala alam.
You mentioned different scholars of the heart, people of spirituality. They may have different paths, but they're all valid. They're
all valid. But it's not an argument per se against Imam Ghazālī rahimahullah ta'ala. Maybe a recognition that Ghazālī has a way, but we have a different way of approach in terms of purification of the heart. That they sound, mashallah ta'ala. But it's not, Allahu a'lam. Allahu a'lam, you're not going to find a single person who's going to find fault in the approach of Imam Ghazālī rahimahullah, of the Imams of Nur. In the age of Ghazālī, na'am, kathir. In the age of Muhammad al-Ghazālī, a lot of people rose up against al-Ghazālī rahimahullah ta'ala. But that is the issue of the nufus of contemporaries, the reality of it. You live in the age of somebody, sure, you can be veiled from who that person actually is. That's why in the science of hadith, of criticism, we don't take the criticism of a contemporary over a contemporary. In the science of hadith in and of itself. Because hakada. So in the age of al-Ghazālī rahimahullah ta'ala, you can have that. Ibn Hurmuz, they found that out. When he found out, Ibn Hurmuz, when he criticized Ghazālī, rose up in Fez, in Morocco, against Imam Ghazālī, rahimahullah, Imam, Hurmuz, rahimahullah ta'ala, rose up against Ghazālī, rahimahullah ta'ala, and then he decided, Jum'ah at the Qaraween, and Jum'ah after Jum'ah, he's going to gather all the books of Ghazālī and burn the books of Ghazālī. Burn every book, bonfire, outside the Qaraween. Hakada he was, Imam area of religion. What is there? Sure. And so what happens? What happens? He goes to sleep. Night of Jummah, Thursday night, goes to sleep. You sure? Who does he see? Rasulullah. He sees the Rasul. And besides Rasul, Sayyidina Abu Bakr and Sayyidina Umar. So he's just like, mashallah. So he's headed to the Rasul. Who enters? Ghazālī. Ghazālī enters. So we look at Ghazālī, and so Ghazālī now voices his opinion. Ya Rasulullah, I've got a claim against this man. And he said, what claim do you have against him? And he says, Ya Rasulullah, he's finding fault in my book. He's finding fault in my approach to purification. Sure. And so Imam Ghazālī in the dream, he gives what? He gives the book to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sure. And so the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he goes through all of it in a split second. The Prophet ﷺ says, "Hada Shaykh Hassan." It's good, yeah. This is a good thing there. He passes it to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Sure, Abu Bakr, there. Hada Shaykh Hassan. Look, she did it even in the dream state. Abu Bakr, look, how he's following the Prophet ﷺ. Hada Shaykh Hassan. Pass it to Umar ibn Khattab. Hada Shaykh Hassan. Look at him. Sure. So then, what is that? Oh, that's a false accusation then. You find a fault in him, it's false accusation. What's the punishment for the one who falsely accuses? To be whipped. Whip him. Whip him. And so they take him in the dream, in his own dream. And he's being whipped. He's being whipped. Sure. And after then, sure, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, rahimahullah ta'ala, said, Ya Rasulullah, lahu wajh. Maybe, there's a perspective. Look, maybe he's wrong, but even people who are wrong, they could have a perspective of why they arrived at such error. Like Abu Bakr saying, the Rahman of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and so the Rasul started telling them to stop whipping him. And so Ibn Hurmuz, he says, Shuf, and so I was saved by the intercession of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Like he says. He wakes up out of the dream state, the lash marks upon his back. And they were on his back till the day he died. Sure, that's as real as a dream comes. Yeah. You get the point? Back at that perspectives, perspectives.
We're living in times of increased fitna, and we should
But, sorry, a point. One thing we would say with that question, which is really important, follow somebody. Which is an attribution of khair to follow somebody. You get the point? Known for salah, for piety, for the tiba, for khair to the Rasul. Follow somebody. And that's the key. It's not like, oh no, you got to follow, why follow? Nah, it's not that at all. You should just follow somebody, mu'tabar, who is considered to be a person, mashallah ta'ala, of purity and proximity. And congratulations.
You kind of just answered my question. But in terms of increased fitna and rushd that's living today, how does one recognize the pure people? Is there some sort of like litmus test that you could do as a person to recognize the person of purity?
Yeah, Allah Ta'ala alam, the metaphor could be struck. You know, in times of darkness, light becomes obvious, isn't it? We're in an age of darkness, a dark heart and dark people. Yeah. What we're saying is that people of light are not difficult to spot. They're not yet. They're really not. You were there? You got a point? And anybody who's in the sphere of religion knows who God's people are. Yeah. You get the point? You know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know a few. Sure. And if you want to know, mashallah, those who are a bit more veiled, go and ask the ones who, mashallah ta'ala, are not veiled. Ask them ones. They'll tell you, sure. Because one of the beautiful things that being in the presence of the awliya, you can ask them, who are the awliya? Who are they? Where are they? You know, mashallah ta'ala. I mean, it's not like ages have gone where, mashallah ta'ala, your next door neighbor would have been a wali. Beautiful ages of Islam, you know, mashallah. Every street had the local wali. Every street, like the golden age of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look, can you imagine? Yeah, subhanallah, the age of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You ready? Like every house is a house of wilayah. Every Munafiqeen, obviously, they want to they got just a red cross on their door, but they know it as well. But excluding the Munafiqeen, every house, the house of wilayah. Can you imagine that? Your whole street is a wali. Forget the street, the house. You get the point? Your dad's a wali, your mum's a wali, the kids even. The kids are only, can you imagine that? That's a golden age, our age a bit different. But mashallah ta'ala, Allah always has his people. I remember Allah ta'ala will manifest his people. And once we visited the Zambal, Zambal, the great graveyard of Ahl al-Bayt al-Tareem. We visited the Zambal with mashallah ta'ala with Habib Ali al-Jifri. Night, depths of the night, we visited the Zambal. We're going from grave to grave to grave. One is giving the biographies of the Imams of the Barzakh rahimahullah ta'ala. Okay, and so another majlis after that majlis, that visitation, we with Habib Umar. Said Habib Umar, Habib Kaif. Zambal Mamlu, Zambal was full of awliya, full. Sure, like in the Zambal, where are they on the face of the earth? It's like your question, where are they? Where are they? As Habib Umar starts laughing until his molar teeth. He was laughing at Habib Umar. And Habib Umar says, Allah has his people in every generation. Just in some generation, they manifest more than hidden. In our generation, they're hidden more than they manifest. But the ones who will manifest will show you who the ones who are hidden are. Okay? Okay. Now?
So you know people like Imam they be considered anomalies.
Imam who?
Imam
Nawawi. Why is Nawawi? Why is Nawawi an anomaly, sir?
I just believe that the anomalies that people generally have to follow purification. So it was, like, I don't know from why something sounds probably wrong that, like, Imam, did he have a spiritual teacher?
Yeah, well, you think they didn't? Like, impossible. Anybody to arrive at degrees of purity, spirituality without having a teacher. Whether that teacher, that you said, it connects to the question, whether the teacher is manifest, whether the teacher is hidden, whether the teacher is mentioned, whether the teacher is not mentioned, whether the teacher is from the seen or the unseen. It's like, Marabt al-Hajj, give an example of Marabt al-Hajj. We're not saying that excluding this, but Marabt al-Hajj, we need to see like the leaps, the quantum leaps he'd make in spirituality and knowledge that even surpassed his own father and surpassed the environment he was in. So they were confused by it with Marabt al-Hajj. And so they asked Marabt al-Hajj, like, where's all this coming from? You know what the Hajj's answer was? Jesus descends and teaches me. Sure. You get the point? Now you're in another realm of discussion now. You get the point? Nobody arrives without a teacher. Sure, if the Fadil, the Afdal, is taught by the Mafdul, فَمَا بَالَكَ بِغَيْرِهِ. Yani if the one of superior merit is taught by the one of inferior merit, Gabriel teaching the Prophet ﷺ, then what about other than the Rasul ﷺ? You get the point? If Gabriel is inferior to the Rasul, he's superior. But his superiority is inferiority in relation to the Prophet ﷺ. Israfil descends and teaches the Rasul ﷺ, who's superior, but his superiority is inferiority in relation to the superiority of the Rasul ﷺ. What about other than the Rasul? No, cannot happen. Al-Isnadu min ad-Din, Ibn al-Mubarak, Ibn Sirin, Isnadu min ad-Din. This transmission, teachers from teachers, is religion. If it wasn't that transmission, people say whatever they want to say. Like we've seen in our day and age. Man just chatting nonsense. Man just saying whatever they want to say, isn't it? That's the show. That's not the deen. Now we cave. Now we the qutb of the zaman. Habaib mentioned that Imam al-Nawawi died because of qutbiyah. He died because he reached the highest point of spirituality, and the aba'ad, the cloak of it, was too difficult for his spirit. He died 44 years of age. Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, no way he arrived at those heights, saved by a teacher radiallahu ta'ala anhu, yani wa ardahu. Ready? Okay. Radiallahu anhu wa ardahu. It's important that we don't confuse we don't confuse spirituality with tariqah. That's what I'm sort of sensing in the question. Okay, what tariqah were there? You get the point? Tariqah is not there, sure. What tariqah was Abu Bakr? What tariqah was Ali ibn Abi Talib? So let's not confuse that yet. You sure? Yeah. No.
Shaykh, I just want to go back to the entity. So what happens after we die? So in the afterlife, so the day of account, and then even does that change or the sort of term? Is it just a look? No. It doesn't change. It doesn't change in terms of its reality. It's reality. Well, just I think if we're embodied, are we embodied in Jannah? So is that, yeah, the human being, like Imam al-Haddad rahimahullah ta'ala in Sabil al-Dikar, Hadarati Layf al-Dakari, Sabil al-Dikar, it is what was translated in English by Dr. Mustafa as the lives of man, the 5 lives that we sojourn through. It's the first life that is pure reality, pure spirit. The life before this life. It's that life. Okay? And Ibn Tustari rahimahullah ta'ala was asked, what were we before this life? Before we're embodied, as you're saying. What were we? And he said, al-aqal mu'allaq fil fada. He said, like we were like pure spirit suspended in space in a different dimension. Okay, that's the life before. Once we descend into our mother's womb, as we heard yesterday, in ahadakum yujma'u fi batni ummi khalqan 40 yawman nutfa, and with that form has been created. Once we connect to that form, which is the critical definition of life, when spirit connects to form, then khalas, we're going to have a form, there's a form that's attributed to man, eternality now. We have a form in this life. Your reality is connected to a form. And you enter the world of a grave. That form there that's now beginning to wither, you're still connected to that form. So now whatever you have of bliss or of damnation is both physical and spiritual. Don't think it's just a spiritual issue. There's still a connection to form. Then Yawm al-Qiyamah, the reconstitution of the human being. Form. As you die, the form you had when you died is the form upon which you're created and resurrected upon. Is it not? So now Yawm al-Qiyamah, Arasat al-Qiyamah, you still got your form. Your spirit still got your form. It's illa Jannat Allah Ta'ala will create a new form. Isn't it? We recited Waqi'ah. Inna ansha'nahunna insha'a. Like Allah Ta'ala said, we will create them as a brand new creation. So Waqi'ah that we recite. Isn't it? And so that now, the Nahr al-Haya in Bukhari, in the river of life, or the river of modesty, human being in Jannah, human being to enter Jannah is reconstituted now.
Like the Prophet ﷺ, the atrab, the age of Isa, and Allah says, uruban atraba. Urub, beauty. That's the Prophet explains that the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam. Atrab, age, the age of Isa ibn Maryam. Longing, Ayub, saying Ayub alayhi salam. You got it? Form, Adam, you have the Adamic form. Khuluq, character of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you have. Complexion even, complexion of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the next verse. I can enumerate of all the things human beings is going to be reconstituted with inside the paradise, physically. وَكَذَلِكَ لِأَهْلِ النَّارِ, as we mentioned, Ahl al-Nar reconstituted new form. As we said, so one tooth is like the size of Uhud. Like the size of Uhud. So Habib Muhammad said, the mouse Medina, he said, like a Medina, like an entire city. And your tooth you're the mouth, that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of the people of hellfire is like an entire city there. Okay, sure. Insan. Any questions, inshallah ta'ala? Ewa?
I'm struggling to understand that concept of almost I think it's because of the negative connotation.
Of Allah's what, sorry? No, we said nafs, you don't struggle to. Nafs just means essence. That, the word you can use the word for Allah Ta'ala's essence is that Allah Ta'ala, the essence of God. You can use the word for the essence of Allah Ta'ala, kun, the essence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Like Abu Bakr as-Siddiq rahimahullah Ta'ala, al-ajj an darak al-idrak wal khawdu fi kun al-ilahi al-ishraq. Your incapacity to know God is your knowledge of God. But delving into the essence, the nature of God will lead you to shirk, Abu Bakr says. And to the word nafs is a synonym of that and a synonym of kun. That's what it is, the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? That they veiled from the human being, except for the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam inside of this world. Okay? But in akhirah, in Jannat Allah, in paradise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wujuhun yawmaydin nadira. Beings now radiant, lumen. Ila rabbiha, what do you mean ila rabbiha? Ila dhati rabbiha. Nadira. Gazing now at the essence of God. You're seeing God for the first time. Okay? And every time you see Allah Ta'ala in Jannah, is seeing God for the first time. Every time. Okay? It's not something you'll ever get used to or familiar with. Seeing of the divine Jalla Jalaluhu wa Ta'ala, nothing greater than that. Maf'oon, is that clear? Is it clear? Huh? Okay, sure. Now,
you know, at the start you mentioned that defining ourselves, you mentioned essence, subtle, lordly.
Rabbani. Sorry, essence. Jawhara. Jawhara is an essence. So, Latifa, Ruhaniya, Rabbaniya. Spirit. Yeah. Any questions? No.
We're talking about the dirty mirror. Imam al-Ghazālī saying that it's full of good character, the type of polish of the mirror. And that is understood the hadith of the invitation that to give to those who don't give to you. This is a type of to what end do we continue to give in order to develop good character? It's character to do so. We're able to bottom and to give, it's almost like getting slapped back in the face. And I'm not talking about Muslims, I'm talking about those who don't share our faith. How do we continue to give, to develop our character?
Character is what is a هيئة الراسخة في النفس يخرج منه بسهولة. How can I say the definition of character? It is a fixed or a firm disposition of the soul that emanates or flows from him innately with ease. And so one gives until giving is innate. Sure. And giving innate, he said when it becomes innate, as in like Bukhari and Muslim, left hand doesn't know what the right hand gives. Okay? Just like there's so many things we do subconsciously, isn't it? We don't, it's not on presence of mind. How can the giving should be? So, to the point that they say, like a sakha, like the Prophet ﷺ, is Anna Medina to Sakha, Abu Bakr, I'm the city of munificence, and Abu Bakr is the gateway. Sure, what do you say sakha is? Sakha is when you give and you pay no attention to what you give or to whom you give. You pay no attention to it. You sure? Like Jum'akum, or whenever it is in the masajid, and we get into our pockets, we're feeling around in it. We're feeling around to see, like, you know, to see the size of the coin. You see, you know, if you compare, or the size of the notes, if you compare the British to the Americans, so the Americans, all the dollars are the same size, isn't it? Britain, no, you can differentiate by size. America, atyab, it's pure American. You get the point. Once we were there once with somebody, and a person comes and asks for some charity. A person comes and asks for charity. And so a person there gets out and gives them from England, from Liverpool, gives the person some charity. The man looks at it, man runs. My God. So he's like, what am I running for? The man looks and goes, oh, that was $100 bill. I thought it was a $1 bill. He thought it was $1. But they're all the same size, yani. The base of Sakha, the Sakhi. And when Allah Ta'ala, the Prophet Sallallahu he said, Inna Allah Ta'ala Sakhi, yuhibbu Sakha. God is Sakhi. God is munificent like that. Look. You think Allah is paying attention to what He gives? Look, Allah Ta'ala gives and gives and gives. Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Yeah, Allah Ta'ala, look, imagine, Allah Ta'ala gives when He's withholding. Imagine that. SubhanAllah. When He withholds, He's still giving. Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Jalla Jalaluhu wa Ta'ala. See, that hakada we're trying to be. You see, every time you have an excuse not to give, that is the darkness of your nafs. Every time. The Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never had an excuse not to give. Never. Even when he didn't have, still giving. Even shuf, go there to the souk and take whatever you want from my tab. Look, shuf. Rasul Sallallahu Ya Rasulullah, inna Allah ma amaraka bihada. Umar says, Allah Ta'ala hasn't commanded you that, O Messenger of God. Don't think Umar is objecting to the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Umar showing that there are people here objecting. Not to the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but to the example of the Rasul. Like, man don't want to see that one. Man don't want to be like, what do you mean? But I ain't God still got to give. I've got to go and borrow to give. So long as man asks me, I've got to give. Sure, man object to Umar's now voicing it to see the answer to the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Sure, what does Allah Ta'ala unfold? An ansar. Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of God, anfiq. Just give. وَلَا تَخْشَى بِذِي الْعَرْشِ قَلَالَهِ. And fear no poverty, no frugality from the possessor of the throne, from God. Don't have no fear whatsoever. And look at the Rasul now starts to smile. وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ. Look at that. It's with that I've been commanded. That's what I've been commanded to do. Just to give, have no fear from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isn't it? Ask Allah Ta'ala for talking. You there? We just got to keep giving. Anytime somebody asks, give. Even if you're stingy, give a penny. Give something, yani. Just use their asking as an opportunity to approach Allah Ta'ala. Even if you're like, I don't even want to give any, just give something. Try to habituate the nafs with giving, till it becomes more and more easier, inshallah, to get rid. And the reality, they're doing you a favor. Inshallah ta'ala. Now, last question.
How do you balance, cutting people off for the sake of Allah and maintaining ties?
No, you can't cut people off for the sake of Allah ta'ala.
As in, how you mentioned cutting.
No, it's not cutting relationships with them. It's not that, yeah. Anyone who has a relationship with you, haqq is haqq, yeah. And you must give them their right. It's to sever that right. That's what's cutting ties. You with it? So you must still deliver the rights that a person has over you. Okay? But two things. One, be careful of friends. Yeah. You get the point that be careful of having too many friends in life. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you with enough people who have rights over you. Enough. You don't need any more. it was difficult to deliver those rights. Like, you see, like our teacher, Brother Hajj there, Brother Hajj, he never used to drink tea. The Mauritanians love their tea. They love their tea and mint. Yeah, they love it. They love it. Mauritania. Brother Hajj never sipped it. And they asked him, why don't you drink tea? He said, because I see people make friends over drinking tea. It's a social activity. Like when you socialize, you make friends. As soon as somebody's a friend, the familiarity, they have a right over you now, isn't it? Now you got to deliver that. I don't need any of that in my life. Okay, you don't need it. I can work for that. Sure, but giving people whatever their rights are. So we asked Shaykh Abdurrahman, son of Abdul Hajj, speaking about this about Abdul Hajj, his father, and I'm just using this word, his word, and it's a figure of speech. No one take anything other than that from it. He said, whenever I came to see my father, his word, I was like a Chinaman to him. You with it? Like I was like Chinese. You get it? Like my father didn't know me. Now even he's in Spain and he comes back a year or 2 years, 3 years later, father, not like he doesn't know him. Whatever rights he has as a son, he gets that. Over and above, none of that. I'm busy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not cutting off the rights that are owed to people, but be careful of bringing more people into your life so that you owe more rights to them. But it's busying yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more so, but not at the expense of the rights that you owe those around you. Right.
ربنا انفعنا بما علمتنا، رب علمنا الذي ينفعنا، رب فقنا وفقه اهلنا، وقربات لنا في ديننا مع اهل الكفر والدعوه، رب وفقنا ووفقهم لما ترتضي ونغفر كرما، وارزق كل حلال دائما، وادخلنا اثرياء علماء نقض الخير منفى كل شر، ربنا واصلح لنا كل الشرور، واقر بالنظام كالعلوم، واقض عنا ربنا كل الديون، وقبل ان تاتينا رسل المامون، واغفر واستر انت اكرم من ستر، وصلاه الله تمشى المصطفى الى الحق دعانا والوفاء، في كتاب فيه للناس شفاء، وعلى الآل الكرام الشرفاء، وعلى الصحب المصالح الكبار. اللهم اهدنا بهداك، واجعلنا ممن يسارع في رضاك، ولا تولنا وليا سواك، ولا تجعلنا ممن طرق المكر وعصاك، وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
يا ربنا اعترفنا بأننا اختلفنا وأننا أسرفنا على لظى أشرفنا، فتب علينا توبة تغسل لكل عوبة، واستر لنا العورات وآمن الروعات، واغفر لوالدينا ومولودينا والأهل والإخوان وسائر الخلان، وكل ذي محبة أو جيرة أو صحبة، والمسلمين اجمع آمين ربي اسمع، فضلا وجودا منا لا باكتساب منا، بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سور، بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سور، بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سور، صلى وسلم ربي عليه عد الحب، وآله وصحبه عداد طشر صحبي، والحمد لله بالبدء والتناهي.
سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، وسلام على المرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. في كل لحظة ودعنا ربك ورضاك سيدك عشر إلى كلمات
القبول إلى حضرة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. بارك الله وعلى الفاتحة.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان